basically there is a fundamental, infinite creative power to the universe that we are all a part of. In other words, we are points of consciousness within that universal consciousness, and we're all interconnected, we're all entangled, and we are each co-creating with others this universe that is really about knowing ourselves. I think Federico says that in his books. It's like, this is about the one consciousness wanting to know itself. And the way it does that is by creating all of these other points of consciousness so that it can look back at itself and say, oh, there I am. And now I can co-create with you. I can be playful with you. I can create this universe with you. And within that playful entanglement, we draw the situations to ourselves that are most important for unfolding our path in this universe so that we can know ourselves more fully. I mean, it's a beautiful, real concept of what's going on. And something I've also heard, which I now understand more deeply, is that our beliefs create our reality. We've heard that before, but in this case, it's a nuanced term that means that what I pay attention to in my life is then what I then allow to unfold in my life. So when my heart says, I have a deep desire for something to unfold in my life, and it's a truly heartfelt wish, then your beautiful entanglement with everything else in the universe allows the constellation of events to bring that forth because I paid attention to that in my universe. And this is, to me, a critical issue for my own life. It's like what I pay attention to is so critical to the joy in my life. If I pay attention to all of the drama in the universe, the political events, all of the things that are going on, it may, with my attention going there, draw me down into that drama. But if I listen to the drama, but then put it aside and then come back to my own equanimity and my desire to help people unfold their own creativity in this world, I will create a different universe from this belief of what is important in my life. So I think that's critical to us right now. And in fact, I'll share one other thing, because like everyone right now, I have a lot of anxieties when I hear about the world situation, all those sorts of things.
Don't listen to the news.
Don't listen to the news, exactly. So I tend to read the headlines myself, but I realize that nevertheless, my friends talk about it, the headlines talk about it. And this is what someone said to me, which I love. He is actually a meditation teacher, and he's also a haiku poetry master from Zen and a Zenga painting master. And he said, Marjorie, he said, what one needs to do in this world is to shift from what he calls framework one, which is our five senses telling us how only the sensory experiences are real and nothing else is real, to framework two, which is the one where consciousness is fundamental and we're all interconnected. And it's about an exploration of a playful universe as we unfold our consciousness. He says, what you need to do is to try to shift more to that other framework. But he said, here's a phrase that will help you, which I use all the time now. It's a Zen phrase. And then he drew a Zen painting related to that phrase. It is, embrace tiger, return to mountain. Embrace tiger, return to mountain. And what he means is you embrace whatever is happening in the drama of life, you look at it, but then you let it go and you return to the peace and the equanimity of being in the present moment and realizing your interconnectivity. And you ask yourself, how can I help myself and others in this moment to expand my consciousness? And somehow what I learned from my friend, Jeb Barton is his name, this summer has helped me in those moments when I get caught in the drama. And he said, look, these are the essential parts of this vast consciousness, which is what Federico Fagin and others say too. He said, this universe is a trustworthy universe, and I am nested in love. And everything else beyond my creating this conscious expansion of who I really am is just drama, and I can let the drama go. And it's like, oh, I can let the drama go. I embrace it and I let it go. It's here and I let it go. And somehow that's part of the synchronicity then of saying, okay, I'm going to focus on the joyful synchronicities unfolding in my life and let the drama go.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, I've been saying to people lately also and thinking myself that we live in the world that we believe we live in, which sounds like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to many people, but when you think about it, it is exactly like that, like you're describing here. And this is exactly why we have this polarization and people who are, I mean, focusing on things that you don't even think about and are scared and whatever and see the world as going down the drain or whatever. They actually see the world. They actually live in a different world as I see it. They do that.
Yeah.
And because, as you say, you draw in the thing. I mean, what you give out is what you get back. And so this is so fascinating when you realize that it actually works this way, that you can practice this and your life will unfold in a different way. Yeah. And of course, John Archibald Wheeler, the theoretical physicist, said that we live in a participatory universe. Already in the 40s, I think he said this, which was wonderful.
Exactly. I mean, a beautiful term to really think about. And because to me, participatory really means a cooperative. If we can make it a cooperative participatory universe, we will create the most beautiful thing in the world. And I want to say something else. I was just at a transpersonal psychology conference in Oxford called Eurotas, where Chris Page, a wonderful writer, talked. And one of the things he said is that we are going through difficult times right now, as we have climate change and these other things going on. And he said, what we really need to do is shift towards seeing that we can only survive with cooperation and compassion toward each other and working together and letting go of the competition that our materialist worldview has created for the past 200-300 years or more. Shift now to cooperativity and care and interconnection, which is, again, this top-down consciousness is fundamental view that we're all connected together. So I keep remembering that as well, that now my primary goal when I wake up in the morning is how can I serve this higher understanding of interconnection and compassion and love? Because, of course, when we give that out, as you say, it comes back to us as well.
Mm. Beautiful. So how should one then react or act on synchronicities when they occur, would you say?
I'd say value them highly and explore them and say, wow, and I think also show gratitude for that synchronicity coming. I think that one of the parts of the synchronicities in my life I'll explain on Thursday morning is how just writing my book, Infinite Awareness, The Awakening of a Scientific Mind, and talking to my publicist when she said, well, what do you want from this book, Marjorie? And I said, well, probably can't expect a bestseller, but I would like to go to maybe 3 or 4 conferences a year and talk with others about these things, about consciousness. And that heartfelt wish caused me to meet Gary Schwartz, who invited me to co-create the Academy for the Advancement of Post-Material Sciences. I then met through him David Lorimer, and then I was asked to be part of the Galileo Commission, et cetera. It's like one thing after another unfolded. And each time I felt incredible gratitude for this widening group of friends that I could play with in unfolding my universe and my understanding of consciousness. So I think a lot of it is the awareness, the gratitude, and then continuing to watch it unfold.
Mm. When a synchronicity occurs, in some instances, at least, when they feel really profound, it feels almost as if time stops or time collapses in a way. So how do you see time? Do you have any thoughts on what time is? Because I think it's an illusion, but it has some meaning, some purpose, I guess, for us in this 3-dimensional world. But when we have these synchronicities and these spiritually transformative experiences, it's kind of like the time stops. So what is time? How do you see it?
So first of all, yes, I think now all of the modern scientists that are on the cutting edge, as far as I'm concerned, like Federico Fagin, Bernardo Kastrup, et cetera, say that within the vast consciousness that is the fundamental nature of the world, there is no time or space. And when it says, I want to know myself, and it creates the points of consciousness, which then start acting, they act then within a time-space phenomenon. So I think what happens to us in those moments when time seems to stop, whether it's in a synchronistic moment or a meditative awakening moment, it's literally like we've moved back into what Federico Fagin might call the quantum field of consciousness that is before the material reality is actually created. And I think that many of these scientists also mentioned that when you move back into that arena, you're able to look, of course, forward and backward across time because there is no time progression like we have it now. And you can actually shift your whole reality system when you're back in that world. And it reminds me of people that have near-death experiences. And when they are in that near-death experience state, they actually can see what's going to happen in the future, and they can see why things happened in the past. But literally, time disappears. I shouldn't say it disappears completely, but what happens is they see everything at once. And then, of course, when they come back to the three-dimensional world, then time opens up again and it plays out in our usual illusion, we might call it, in this world of moving forward in time and across space.
Yeah. When people feel that the universe is unfair, it's not only unfair to them, but to millions of others. I mean, you hear this all the time. This is an unfair world. Is that a fundamental misunderstanding, would you say? Or are they correct?
I believe it is a fundamental misunderstanding, but we all have it because, as many people say, we are both a soul with infinite awareness and a tiny point of awareness. And the tiny point of awareness where our ego resides, telling us our narrative about what's going well and what's not going well in the world, is always making judgments about what's pleasurable, what's painful, what causes suffering, and what causes expansion. And from that point of view, yeah, things can really be difficult. I experience it right now, as I said, when I listen to the news. But what I think people are saying is that if we can see a broader understanding, if we can take that view of the whole, which is our essence. We are in and of that whole. We then begin to see that there's probably something we can learn from in that moment of pain and suffering that will move us forward in our expansion of knowing who we are. It doesn't mean that we're going to ever be in this three-dimensional reality without ever having pain. In fact, I think when we come into this reality, we take on the understanding at some deep level that, yes, we will be part of the polar pairs of opposite, from pleasure to extreme pain and everything in between, but it's because it's a way of knowing ourselves, expanding our understanding of who we are. So that's what I keep remembering when something painful happens to me. Can I step back and can I remember that? Embrace tiger, embrace the pain, return to the peace of knowing who I really am and my interconnection with others. And I swear that when I focus on helping others, I feel my heart relaxing. And then it's like, oh yeah, I'm part of a whole and we can help each other. And then everything seems to calm down into a whole different space of equanimity.
Hello, my friends. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to hit that like button and share the video with your friends. Please support the channel if you can. I appreciate all the support. You can become a Patreon for as little as $1 a month, or you can make a one-off donation via PayPal if you wish. All the links are in the description box below. Thank you.